Hi everyone. So today I thought I would do a quick walkthrough of a reading list that I've created within Capacities so that you can get something that looks a little bit like this. Obviously you can choose your own columns and your own inputs that you want and metadata, but what I like to have is a title, the author, an image, a link, just so I can see reviews and comments on the book, when I started and finished it, how many pages the book has, the year that I read it, just for more sorting purposes. Medium, they shouldn't really be here, so let's just move this one to the left, as we don't really need medium. Oops. There we go, they're playing around with it. Just goes to show the capabilities of Capacities, that you can move around columns in a database. And then a summary, which is actually AI generated. So for example, let's not do a spy among friends because I'm reading that at the moment. Let's just do an AI generation of A Painted House by John Grisham. So we'll click that, and there you go. That's what it's generated as a text from it. That's what I really limit it to. I don't want it to create my own notes. I just want to get a quick synopsis of what the book was, just for a quick review of it. So what we can then have, this is obviously just a long list of books. You can then filter it, sort it, play around with it, but you can see it's a little bit laggy, takes a bit of time. There's 136 items in this one. So what I like to do is I like to create a couple of quick dashboards or queries with it, and these are obviously load a lot quicker. So this is a book that I've read this year, and I like to have it in a gallery view. I've just got the author, date, time, set, etc. So I can see what I did, what I was up to. You can play around with it. You can show what you want to see, what you don't want to see, but at least just gives me a gallery view of what I've read this year and the books that I want to read or currently reading. Let's just change this from a table to a gallery view as well. So these are the couple of books that when I'm reading one I want to read in the future. So very good way, or so very good at capturing what I want to do in terms of books. So to create all this with these sorts of properties, what we'll do, this is going to be a little bit of a memory test of how I created it, but we will create a new workbook or a new workspace. So just assume that we're starting from scratch, just to make it easier for everyone so that we're all on the same page. And what we'll do is we will do a new object type. And so you can create your own, or you can start with a template that have been developed by the devs, or you can even do a basic type. So what we'll do, just to begin with, is we will do book. And this one was created by Stefan, and these are the properties that it includes. So some of them I like, some of them I don't, but the good thing is that you are flexible to keep and add what you want. So we'll use that as a template, and here we go. Here we've created our first book. So what we'll do is, before we do that, we will click up here, 3 dots, and we will do object settings. And this is basically the layout of how the book's object, how you define it, so that then when you create a new object or when you edit a previous object, you can get these sorts of properties in it. So title, I like that, so we'll keep it. Description to me doesn't really serve a purpose. I prefer that being a summary and AI generated. Obviously I'm on the Capacities Pro plan, so just something to keep in mind. We'll delete that, fine. Tags I don't use for my books. Obviously you might want to keep them if you want to keep a genre or something, but I don't keep tags. Notes, we will keep these, but we'll push it towards the bottom here. Cover image I like, fine. Author I like having it second. Rating, I don't really care about this, so I will delete that. Recommended by, again, I don't really have an interest in that, so I will delete it. Medium, we keep it for the time being, and notes we spoke about earlier. So It's quite limited. So what I like to do is just add a new one, and we will do date. So we'll do a date time property. We will call this started. So this will give me the date I started reading the book. I want it always shown. You can hide it when it's empty, or you can just give it hidden, but I like to see it. It's optional, required, disallowed. We'll put it as required, range. Sorry, no, that's time. They're in the date. Obviously, we're in the date time settings or object. So this is the time. If you want to see the time, I'm not interested in what time I started to read a book. So we'll disallow it. Range. I guess you could change it rather than have a started and finished property. You could have a date range, date read, and you can have that as a range rather than two separate properties, but I like having a started and ending, and that's it. So we'll go back to book, and that's our started properties here. We will do the same thing, another date time. We'll call this finished. When did I finish the book? Always shown, time, disallow, date range, disallow. Excellent. We'll go back here. So I like having these a little bit further up. What I also like to do is have a link. Oops, is this URL? No, link is text. So I like having a link to Goodreads for the book. And this is mainly just so that I can have quick access to what the people on Goodreads are saying. So that's that. And we'll move that one up a little bit. Pages, just more for prosperity. Pages, just more to keep for personal reasons of how many pages I read. Obviously exited out, which I didn't mean to do, so we'll go back. And we were here, so let's edit this one. We'll call it pages. And we will do number. So that's that. We don't want decimals, so we'll keep it as that. And we'll do one more for year. Nope. Number again. Call this year. Again, this is just so that I can sort, I can filter, and I can do various different things on it. A couple more properties that we'll add. We'll add a checkbox, and we will do a red, and that's it. And one more, which we will call, I can't remember what it was called. Was it text? Let's try text. Yeah, and we'll call this AI summary. And AI autofill, yes. And obviously you can add instructions. Did I add instructions previously? What type of instructions can we add? Keep in mind that, do not that. Keep your answers short and don't make things up. Yeah, let's just keep the last one. Cool. So that's that. So that should give us quite a bit to play around with. Obviously you can reorder them, put in them whichever order you like. And there is in fact just one more thing that we just need to play around with. And that is the customization at the bottom. So how the cards are seen. When we do the cards, there's a lot here. What I don't want, object type, just get rid of that. Content preview, yep. Title will keep, yep. Author will keep. And let's just put AI summary, see what that looks like. And then you can play around. There's a lot of settings here that you can play around with. So now that we've got that done, let's just delete this one. That's fine. And we'll do a new book. So it pops up. So here you can see on the side, these are the properties that we've created. So obviously we can go through them. If then you realize you don't want medium, you can obviously delete it from here, but just keep in mind that when you delete it, it will delete it from everywhere. So it's a bit like a delete it here and it's gone forever. So just keep in mind of that. If you just want to remove it from one, I'd recommend just leave it blank, and then you can hide it when it's blank. The other way that you can remove one of these properties is obviously going back up here, object settings, and finding it and deleting it as we did earlier. So what we'll do is we'll finally get to creating a book. Let's just do the one that we did with the example. We'll do a painted house. So the author is John Grisham. The title is A Painted House. Link we'll get to in a second. Started to read it, let's say, with a new functionality that you can use with the date, with the update to the date. Let's say we did it last week, so that already goes to the 10th, fine. And finished, let's say, next week, so that already does that. What happens if I do next Sunday? Is that going to go to tomorrow or the next one? Okay, excellent. And this Sunday? Sorry, getting a bit distracted. Let's do next Sunday. Excellent, so we'll go to that. Medium, we'll leave it. Pages is 384. Number, year is 2024. When did I read it? And I've read it. And an AI summary, we'll get to that in a second. So now for the cover image, what I like to do is I like to go to Goodreads. So we'll bring Goodreads up. And we will call it A Painted House. That's it here. That's the one. And then what I like to do is just copy image link, go back to capacities, add cover image, add a link. There you go, done. And then the link, that's more just for my own personal thing. I just like to copy it in there. So that's it. And then for the AI one, what we can do is just simply click fill, and it will generate some text for us, which is pretty accurate. So there we go. That's it. So what we'll do is we'll maybe just create one other quick one, and we will do, let's do this one here. We'll do a spy among friends. Author is Ben McIntyre. Okay, started doesn't matter. No, started remove. Let's see if that remove 368. Year 2024. It's obviously the year that I plan on reading it. Let's not do a summary, because if not, that's gonna give the game away. We'll find Spy Among Friends. Do the same thing with the image. Paste that, done. And what we'll do is we will leave it unticked from the red section. So that's our books. Obviously we can see it as a gallery, we can see it as a list, as a wall, as a table with various different things. And what we want to do though is we want to create a database or a query just of the books, let's say, that we need to read or that we want to read. So to do that, it's quite simple. I say it's quite simple. We need to go to here, we need to go to query. So sorry, what did there was new type, because obviously I think when you start up the first time there is actually a query drop option object here, but for this example there's not. So we'll go to new object type, click on query, that's fine. That just gives us the query one, and in fact what we can then do is we can just redrag them, and we will do a new query. We will call it an object type, add the object type of book, and we want to filter by property. Property is red, and we want it is not selected. So let's just check that. Yeah, that should work. Cool. So that's that one. And what we'll do is to read books. In fact, let's just put to read. And pin to dashboard. Yeah, why not? So that's that. So now we can see we have the books that we've read, and we have the query running, and we'll just do it in gallery view as well. So this book needs to be read. And what we'll just do is we'll just do a new book. Let's just do it quickly. We've not read it yet. It has 200 pages. So we obviously don't need to fill these in. And that's it. In fact, let's just add any image from here. Let's just do this one so we can see it, just for the sake of argument. There we go. So now, obviously, my books has increased by the test book, and my to read query has increased by the one book that we've just added. So what we can then do is, if once I finished it, I've read it, let's say here I go to finished a spy among friends, done. Obviously need to click on it, click on the red. Let's just get an AI summary to generate a bit of a blurb. Can check through it. I won't read it because I've not actually finished the book yet, so let's ignore that. And we then go to read, and obviously that's now disappeared, and the only book that we have is the unchecked one. So it's just a way of creating a query from your library. And the other one that I do like is books read this year. So what we'll do is just do a new query, and we'll call it object type. Object type is book, and it is, what do we need to do? I'm cheating a little bit because I went to check what I did on the other one. We want to filter by properties, filter, and this is why the year is important. So year equals 2024. So if you wanted to see the books that you read in 2023, 2022, etc., you can then play around with this query. What I found is this helps a lot to reduce the number of books that are in the database and loading at the one time. So rather than 136, this loads 12, 20, however many books you've read in the year. And that's why I like having the year property. You probably can do this with date, I think. Let's just check. Started is not empty, is big. Yeah, you could probably play around with the date parameter, but I just find this is a lot easier. And we want to sort by, and we want date. No, we want finished, and we want the newest first. So that it sorts them out. In that way, what we'll do is books read in 2024. Keep that as a property. Now obviously I've messed up the books, so we'll complete it all. So what I need to do is here, just put 2024, and what we'll do is we'll just change this one to 2024 as well. So hopefully what we should see is the 3 books in the queries, books read in 2024, there it is, and we can see it as a gallery, and then these are sorted newest first. You can change what's shown in them, if I remember how. Yeah, wrong one. Let's just pin this to the sidebar. Pin to the dashboard side. What we'll do is we'll go back to books, click here, click object settings, and what we'll do is we want to see date ended. So I think that's the way I did it previously. Yeah, so you can see it just added the dates when they were ended. Obviously they're just fictitious dates, but you can see you can quickly play around with it. You can then, if you don't want the summary, you can just go back, object settings, wrong one, sorry, the books, object settings, And let's just get rid of the summary from the card view. And in fact, let's just get rid of author because it's already on the book cover. And there we go. So you can see you can customize it as you wish. So hopefully you found that useful. And basically, as I say, what it allows you to create is something that looks along the lines of this. And I just find this great, just so that I can keep track of what I've read, when I read it, what I thought of it. Obviously, you can add your own notes to it, to each one, and a visual representation. I mean, I love just seeing the cover. It's easily identifiable rather than just a title of, oh yeah, which book was this? So thank you very much for watching, and if you've got any questions, please do just let me know. Thanks so much. Bye.